Floyd Mayweather Jr. is 47-0 as a professional boxer. He calls himself TBE, the best ever. He has mocked Manny Pacquiao both for his lack of an undefeated record and his inability to command the impossible sums of money that he himself collects with every fight. If you were to listen to Floyd, you might think that his decision to finally fight Manny Pacquiao May 2nd is some kind of act of charity. But make no mistake, the only way for Mayweather to establish himself as the greatest boxer of his time is to win this fight. He needs this fight. Mayweather has felt the weight of expectation since he first laced on the gloves as a youth. Born into a boxing dynasty, he stormed through his competition at the 1996 Olympics as a 19-year-old, only falling short of the finals thanks to an officially and popularly protested decision. Pocketing his bronze medal, Mayweather turned pro just 2 months after the end of the games, racking up a record of 11 wins in a single year. In his 18th fight, he won the WBC super featherweight title. Over the next 4 years, he racked up 8 more wins and became the king of both lightweight and junior welterweight. Since then, he's been dominating at and around welterweight, beating the likes of Oscar de la Hoya, Shane Mosley, and Saul Alvarez along the way. It's been a great run, but is it missing something? Unlike Manny Pacquiao, Mayweather's career has not been defined by a series of exciting fights. The man essentially has no rivals. You could argue, as Floyd has, that his undefeated record carries more weight than Pacquiao's many back-and-forth battles and mixed results. The fact is that great fighters are defined by their losses as much as they are by their wins. Muhammad Ali became the greatest heavyweight of all time not in spite of his losses to Joe Frazier and Ken Norton, but because of them. By rematching and defeating both men, he proved that he could persevere. Joe Louis may have enjoyed the longest reign in heavyweight championship history, but he would not have become the great fighter that he was without his stunning loss to Max Schmeling and the decisive win in the rematch that cemented his role as the better man. Manny Pacquiao has experienced such titanic struggles and persevered. He avenged his first loss to Erik Morales by becoming the first man to knock Morales out. He was also the first to stop another Mexican legend in Marco Antonio Barrera. Pacquiao has gone toe-to-toe with Juan Manuel Marquez 4 times, drawing once, succeeding twice, and losing a winning effort in devastating fashion in their most recent encounter. The Filipino puncher has not always won, but he has always challenged himself, and that's something that many feel Mayweather has failed to do. After all, Pacquiao wasn't going to war in a vacuum. While he battled the Mexican kings, Mayweather was dominating elsewhere. He collected some impressive scalps during that time, but the circumstances always seemed to leave a sour taste in the mouth. After his narrow win over Oscar de la Hoya, for example, Floyd retired just as a rematch was being discussed. When he ended his retirement 2 years later to fight Juan Manuel Marquez, he weighed in at 146 pounds, over the originally contracted limit, while the lightweight Marquez fought at a bloated 142. All of this may not be as damning as it sounds. Despite the weight advantage, Floyd did absolutely dominate Marquez, something Pacquiao has never been able to do. When Pacquiao was facing Morales and Barrera, Mayweather simply wasn't fighting at their weight, and neither man was willing to move up to meet him. And Mayweather has consistently fought highly regarded, highly ranked opponents. Just about everybody available, in fact, except Manny Pacquiao. So can we really fault the man for not having struggled enough? Can we criticize a 4-division champion for being too good? Mayweather's resume is, without a doubt, one of the best in the sport. But when so much of his greatness is predicated on that all-important O, when a fighter is so quick to point to his undefeated record as evidence of his personal perfection, it becomes much easier to pick that record apart. And when you look at it, is Mayweather's 47-0 really better than Pacquiao's 57-5-2? Do Mayweather's comfortable wins outweigh Pacquiao's thrilling triumphs? Do his occasional rematches compare to Pacquiao's legendary sagas? And doesn't his apparent tendency to fight dangerous opponents only after they have been thoroughly bested pale in comparison to Pacquiao's willingness to fight anybody at any time. Mayweather's reputation certainly hasn't been helped along by his abrasive personality and history of vulgar excess and violence. Granted, Floyd is hardly the first boxer to spark controversy. Ali himself was a public icon in part because of his politically and racially provocative persona. Sonny Liston seemed to spend as much time fighting police officers as he did top-ranked heavyweights. And for God's sake, Mike Tyson bit off a man's ear in the ring. In this sport, infamy is often just as good as real popularity. But in the here and now, something about Mayweather just seems to rub boxing fans the wrong way. Manny Pacquiao's rise to stardom is inextricably linked with the stories of his fellow boxers. His own greatness built upon the greatness of a previous generation, while Floyd Mayweather, undefeated, unchallenged, and absolutely unabashed, has always seemed somehow above all the rest. Certainly no worse, but distinctly separate. The result is that Pacquiao's exploits are easily accepted as the stuff of legend, while Mayweather's own history ends up feeling more like a myth. Whether the product of his own hype or merely a victim of circumstance, Floyd Mayweather needs this fight. Pacquiao's is the only name that Floyd can't simply reduce to a number, and that's a good thing. With a win on May 2nd, Floyd Mayweather won't be 48-0, he'll be 47 Manny Pacquiao-0. It may not make him the best ever, but it will be the biggest win of his career and the most important of his era.